let's just interact in terms of family life in the UK. You know, from my own experience, I also started my own family life in the UK. So I haven't raised any family in abroad like in Nigeria. You know, I raised them here. So talking about family life in the UK, what do you say to it? Do you think you can compare it to like where you were coming from, or we've got family members like grandmas, grandpa that can help us to like look after this case, you know, while we face our own life in terms of working, business like that. So in UK right now, what can you say about this family life thing? Because it's like a major concern for most parents in the UK.
I would say that growing up in Nigeria and having lived in South Africa for over 8 years, wow. I would say that the communal life that we have in Nigeria, in South Africa, is really not here in the UK. I believe the way the system is, it kind of makes you independent.
Just on your own, do your thing yourself.
So you are doing things on your own, either as an individual or as a family. So there's really not that much of
involvement with other people.
Yeah. So most people do their things on their own, either they're funding themselves through school or they're just in their nuclear family.
Yeah, there's really not that family.
Much bond.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tobi-Oba Wilson. I talk about lifestyle, marriage and motherhood. In today's video, I've got a lovely guest in the building by the name Tola Lusi. Hi Tola Lusi, what's up? How you doing?
I'm alright, good evening. Hello everybody.
You're welcome. I've been following your videos and I know how you switch from health kind of content to like family life, standard of living kind of videos. And I do enjoy your videos, to be honest. And the essence of today's video, or why I need to reach out to you, we need to like talk, is about your recent video regarding standard of living, how you moved from the city to where you called village. I'm like, is there any village in the UK? I was like, why will you use that word? But it's fine. I know you just did that, to be honest. So I said, okay, I'm gonna get on my channel. Let's talk about life in the UK in recent times. What I mean by that is that I know you've been in the UK for some like up to like 3 years?
2 years plus.
2 years. Do you want to tell us what your experience is moving to the UK from wherever you moved from?
We moved from South Africa to the UK, but I wouldn't say it was all that much of a culture shock, because to be honest, there were some similarities with the way both countries are run. I would say in terms of infrastructure, in terms of, you know, how the standard of living is, it's kind of similar, because there's very little difference with how the dynamics of, you know, the way the structure of the country is. In terms of building your finance, it's almost the same. Paying rent, it's almost the same. We pay rent monthly as well. So it wasn't really that much of a culture shock. That is probably why I haven't shot a culture shock video for the UK yet. Okay,
so if I get it clearly, moving from wherever you were to the UK wasn't really like a kind of like much difference, or you don't really have one tangible, like it's not as if there was something so spectacular about the UK for you to move down. If I get it,
the weather was, well, it's different. So it's a completely different. Their jobs. So obviously that's one of the selling points for me, is the fact that there are jobs, readily available jobs.
Okay, so where did you move from?
South Africa.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's talk about life in the UK. I've been in the UK for the past 10 years. I'm going to be 11 years in January. That's like in 3 months' time. So I think I'm no more a visitor in the UK. I'm not like I don't know how to put it. So you talking from your own side, like moving in like 2 years, 3 years, I'm sure you've settled as well, right? Even though there are still some things that will still be like strange, and a lot of things like still back to in terms of like coping with the new system, and with the fact that you just moved from a place to another place. So what facilitated that? Just let me know.
Well, we didn't plan to move to the village, like I said. Okay. It's called to the countryside here, but I just like to use the word village because I believe that my audience will resonate with it. So yeah, we moved for work, so it wasn't
like what you guys planned for, like intentional thing.
Yeah, Yes.
just for work purpose. Yeah, I thought as much. Normally, the only reason why you will leave a comfort zone if it's comfortable enough, another place could be something really, really worth it, something that really, really like, yes, it's going to be better off for the family, for the future, like that. So it is fine. So now, let's just interact in terms of family life in the UK. You know, from my own experience, I also started my own family life in the UK. So I haven't raised any family in abroad like in Nigeria. You know, I raised them here. So talking about family life in the UK, what do you say to it? Do you think you can compare it to like where you were coming from? Or we've got family members like grandmas, grandpa that can help us like look after these kids, you know, while we face our own life in terms of working, business like that. So in UK right now, what can you say about this family life thing? Because it's like a major concern for most parents in the UK.
I would say that growing up in Nigeria and having lived in South Africa for over 8 years, I would say that the communal life that we have in Nigeria, in South Africa, is really not here in the UK. I believe the way the system is, it kind of makes you independent.
Just on your own, do your thing yourself.
So you are doing things on your own, either as an individual or as a family. So there's really not that much of
involvement with other people.
Yeah. So most people do their things on their own, either they're funding themselves through school or they're just in their nuclear family.
Yeah, in the nuclear family.
Much bond of my cousins or I'm going to the grandma. I haven't really seen that much of it here. It's not as common as I've experienced from Nigeria and South Africa. Yes, so I would say that raising a family here in the UK, you have to be hands-on as a parent. If not, you're going to lose your children to the system. I'll also say that if you are not grounded as a person, you will lose yourself as well to culture,
honestly,
to the way of life and everything. So it has to be a conscious effort. You have to be intentional about raising children, or even, you know, being an adult or raising yourself, or, you know, maturing in this place. Because I believe that the longer people stay, the longer
they get used to. Because you don't have that option, no other choice. You just have to like adapt and like find ways to like.
If you can't beat them, join them, kind of thing.
Yes, you just have to join them.
For most people, especially the singles coming in, for those who have not imbibed that, you know, self-discipline and, you know, are grounded in their roots or their culture or even their religion, you find that when they come in, most people just get swept around with, you know, the culture, the way of life, the routine, because UK is all about routine, because you can lose yourself to routine. It's so easy. I know. So it's different. It's very different.
Wow. You see this family life that we've talked about is a course that I don't think anybody can really, it's like a school on its own. I don't think anybody can like really get over it, because if you think, I'm going to get out of it, there's something that's going to like drag you back into it, and I just have to like face reality. And I think, to be honest, I think that should be expected from immigrants. You are moving to a new place, to a new environment, especially another kind of like culture entirely. Comparing South Africa to Nigeria, I think they are still in the kind of like a bit related, because it's mix of like African as well. So it's possible to see people of like mind that also feel your whatever and like help out. In these parts of the world, most of them don't believe in family life. They don't even want it because they believe it's expensive. When they say it's expensive, they don't mean in terms of the financial, however. They're talking about the commitment it's going to take you. It's going to take your own time. It's going to affect your own career. If you're a career person, your own personal thing, because you are stuck with the kids today and like that. And you have to be conscious of the way you deal with them. You don't want to get into trouble, because these kids, there are some things you do in their presence that when they get to school, they're going to go say it, and you don't even know that, really this thing is going to get out, and it's going to be like an issue. Recently, I had issue with social worker because my kids went to school and said this and that, and I knew how long it took us before we could come out of that. And that really weighed me down, because I didn't know how to take care of my children. I didn't know the right word to use. I was trying to be careful, even when I need to like scold them. I am like, I don't know if this word is going to like mean something. You can't use this word, you can't say this, you can't say that. And they won't want to like get into it by saying, because I asked the social worker, I said, how do you want me to like discipline this child when it's been naughty? It didn't say this. It just said, just find a way. I'm like, which way? You're not suggesting to me. it. So that is family life of it. Now talking about child care, whatever, because it still depends, it's still part of family life in the sense that even if you have a good job, you're earning a lot of money, child care costs will take like a large percentage of your salary, of your income, because it's their own job. They're going to charge you a large amount. And if you got like 2-3 kids, you know how much you're going to cough out. Even if you can afford it conveniently, there will be a time where the child mother is going to say, oh, I'm not going to be available, I'm traveling, I have these needs like sort of my own family, and you're still back with the kids. It's going to affect a lot of things. What do you have to say about that?
I would say that it takes a lot of planning, especially if you're coming in with children who are younger than the age of 14. They obviously can't stay on their own, so they have to be with an adult. You can't have a child watch a child, so you have to have an adult on hand. That's always suggest. Anytime, either you're coming in for study or you're coming in for work, make sure that you're coming in with your partner as much as possible.
What about those that don't have partners?
This debate of, will my husband follow me? Will I have support? There's always the option of bring your mom or bring a younger cousin or relative. You need support, and that person has to be an adult. The person has to be able to be committed to sharing the burden of raising these children, because if for any reason you leave your children unattended and it gets out, you stand the risk of losing those children, or you stand the risk of going to serve time, because it is punishable. They take this thing seriously. I believe that they can even take your children more seriously than you, the adults.
Exactly.
So
I think it's because they know they are still vulnerable, they are still minor, so they're not up to 18.
So childcare is very different, because back home we have grandmas, aunties, mother-in-laws.
You have in-laws that come and pass the weekend, like that.
Spend some time, even when you, like the long-term holidays, you can get the children to go over to their cousins, or you will take them to their village, or go and see grandma. Let's go and spend some time with grandma. All of that is kind of a wishful thinking right here, because except right now with the influx of people, we have siblings who are bringing their families in now. It's starting to become a thing, but
it's not going to last long, because it's not going to still last long, because government has tried to cut it right now that no more dependent, except if you are coming as this called COS to sponsorship kind of visa. That's only when you're going to be allowed to bring in your dependents like that. So that leads me to this another point of this balancing work and life. It still has to be family life, because you want to work to provide for the family, and at the same time the family you are providing for, you still want to make sure that they are safe while you are at work. This affects a lot of marriages, in the sense that the husband wants to work because it's got a lot of bills to pay, and you're working to also help, and your own work is going to be at stake if you guys don't balance it, and your employer doesn't want to hear you say, oh, childcare today, childcare, whatever. Then this is going to be causing a lot of arguments, if not taken with a kind of maturity mind between the couple, in the sense that he's got opportunity to work, earn more, but can't do it because he needs to have some time to be with the family, even if the wife is not working. I think the wife should also have her own me time, when you are free from the stress of the children, sit down, come, stay there, school runs like that. And if the kind of husband someone else is on the understanding type, or all these African men, their ego, women is supposed to be with the children, things like that, it's going to affect. And in terms of work family now, what do you think, talking generally right now, how do you think couples, parents can balance this work life? Yes, I know you want to work, there are a lot of bills to pay, even in this cost of inflation, everything. What are the things that someone can do to balance that work and still have family kind of union, and things that will not be causing the kind of separation in marriages?
I would say it all boils down to agreement, because once there is no agreement with you and your spouse, or whoever it is that you're sharing the responsibility of childcare with, you are bound to run into trouble at some point, because once you cannot sync your work schedules to accommodate the childcare, you are going to run into some serious problems and conflict. It wouldn't just affect you as a person, it would also affect your work, because you are unsettled at home, you are not at peace in your home. So finding that balance, this is where compromise comes to play, because as a wife and as a husband, you have to sit down. If you are both working shift, you know that one person would definitely be working the day shift and the other person will work the night shift. And if you don't want to have that schedule in place, then you make sure that you have rotas that accommodate
other people's needs.
Now, that one also has another disadvantage, because the day day your spouse is working. So you get to see the children, but you don't get to see your spouse.
Yeah.
That cause an issue. So
because it doesn't really strengthen the love
as much as possible. You try to have at least 1 or 2 days off where the family is together. Make sure that that time you spend it in a communal setting. It's not that I'm on my phone, I'm catching up with news feeds, or I'm just checking on reels and things like that, or so it boils down to compromise and communication, understanding. Right now in the UK, I find that a lot of employers are a lot more accommodating to people who have childcare.
I think because they're also in the picture as well, or they've gone through that, so they know what that can cause to the family.
It's noteworthy that employers are willing to take that into consideration, especially if you are proving yourself to be a
good aunt.
Yes, exactly. If you have a good track record and everything, they will take it into consideration.
They don't want to lose that person because they know that you're a good asset.
I want them to come in, so I have to accommodate them. And as soon as you are able to maintain that relationship with your boss to the point where they consider you for this rota things. Yeah, not everybody is that fortunate, but I'm just saying. So if you have rotas like that, so you make sure that your rota is in sync with your husband or your wives, as the case may be, and you have time apart from work where it's not like you're spending the day sleeping, because it's a different thing to go to work, especially if you're working in, let's say, healthcare, or you're working in factory setting and you go for work and it's this long hour shift. When you come back, you would definitely want to rest. So who's going to be resting and making sure that the children are also, you go and pick the children, you come back and sleep 2 hours, you go back. So it takes a lot of sacrifice, because the structure, the UK structure, it will
the structure is really
routine. Yes, with routine, you can lose yourself to routine, because it is. My husband calls it the train, because it just keeps going. You never know when it's going.
Honestly,
So when you are able to find that balance, you're golden.
I know. I think this family life thing, I think they're just trying to discourage people from. You can tell me want to get married.
I tell people jokingly, but most people don't believe me. I said that the UK is a natural contraceptive. Like, you don't need.
You don't even need to take it before you know that I can't go more.
Like, the way the UK is set up, it's
honestly
natural contraceptive.
To be honest, I have got 2 kids, and it's not as if I wanted to stop at 2 children. I wanted more. But when I talk about the childcare aspect is affecting the family, probably want to work. I want to work as well. I just know I can't. So who is going to take care of these children? Childminder can disappoint at any time because they've got their own life to live as well. You don't need to be told that no. You have to put a pause on it right now. Do you want to talk about transportation? If you don't have your car, that's moving with these kids. Oh my goodness, is that what we want to talk about? So I always say that I think this country, there's some things they want to do, but they won't tell you categorically. They'll tell you direct to say no, we don't want this. They believe, figure it out, read between the lines, read my lips, and say that and make up your mind. So if you feel like going into it, you're on your own, that kind of mentality. But the thing now is that, Tola, you are here, I'm here. What is the way forward? What should we do?
The way forward for me is knowing your limit. I see a lot of people work themselves to the bone, like they work back to back, they even take overtime shift. Well, at the end of the day, it's your body that will still tell you.
I know.
Whenever you want to work, after they remove their tax, you will first sit down and look for cold.
Honestly, it doesn't worth it.
It will humble you. It will humble you the way they work.
I know.
For that overtime. So it's all about knowing your limits, really, and knowing, what to put in other priority. Because if you ask most of the people who come into the UK, especially those of us who come from Nigeria, ask them why they're here. They'll say, to provide a better life for my family.
Exactly.
Children. Now, so these children that we are actually working and slaving ourselves for, do we have the time for them? Are we making?
Thank you.
So it's a conscious effort where we have to order our priorities, like what's paramount, what's important.
Yeah.
But it's not just about providing for the children.
Yeah.
The UK education system is as well. If you're not monitoring what your children are doing in school, you will notice that your child might be struggling or being bullied or is going through some emotional.
Thank you.
And you didn't pick it up because you were too tired. So it's all about finding that balance where you are able to monitor what's important and still be able to earn a living while you work.
Yeah.
So it's all about striking a balance. Really.
Yeah. To me, I think to be able to really balance this work-life thing is just downsize, cutting your coat according to the clothes that you have right now, not your size, because your size can be deceiving. Just cut according to, okay, I've got just 1 year. We just have to manage it so that I can accommodate everybody. Because if you want to say, oh, because of my status, oh no, I'm known for this, I used to be this before, and you want to keep living that kind of life, it's going to affect something. And there's no point when you leave the children who are your future to like live their own whatever matters to them, all because of working, because you are still working to provide for them. And if whatever you provide, it doesn't really show in their life because you're not there to like monitor. Everything does different thing. Money does different thing. The coaching, the mentoring, the advice, also matters as well. So I think we just have to find that balance, just as you've said, agreement between husband and wife. But even in the case of single mothers that don't have a partner, I think it's whatever you put first. If you say these kids are my priority for now, we just have to like manage till when they're of age, you've groomed them in a way that you guys are so bonded, they tell you anything, you know what is going in their life. Then if you still have the strength, they can do more job. But that coming age, that growing up age, you have to be in their life. You don't want to lose them. You understand? So if we need to like relocate from the city to whatever, not for job right now, if the kind of job is the type that is so okay that you can get something similar wherever you're going to move to, that will make you to work less and have time more for the family, I think it's worth it. If you're still going to stay in the city, expensive place, and you think, okay, I make £2,000 and it is enough for the family, but any 2,500, 3,000 is just like additional, like want to travel around the world, want to do that. If that is going to cost you the life or the future, the education, the good impact you need to have with child, I think you just have to like cut that off. Face those children so that they are our future in the first place. There is no point when we are now old, we can't do much, and these kids that should now give us peace of mind is not our worry. It doesn't still make any sense. We just have to like balance it, prioritize our needs, and know that UK is what it is and we can't change it. It's been like that for a long time, and I don't know when it's going to stop. Most of them believe it's expensive raising a family, so if I'm not doing it and you are doing it, so why are you crying over it for me? Why are you disturbing me with that? So they believe figure it out yourself, you put yourself in that mess, sort it out. So we just have to have a rethink on our own and know how to like balance our family. If you're a single mother, single father, it still doesn't stop the fact that you can raise your kids and they will still be like, they can even be more useful than the children that have both parents in their life. It doesn't matter. It's the way we like balance it and like leave the rest to God. Okay, do you have any passing words before we just like call it today?
At the end of the day, the decision is ultimately ours, because with what I found, I feel like people will hear what they want to hear or take away what they want to take away. Mine is just to take everything with a pinch of salt, find what works for you, and never forget what is important.
Wow, that's deep. All right, Tola, thank you so much for coming on my channel. You really said a lot of things I know that is going to really benefit the life of parents, upcoming parents, mothers to be, about to be married, they're married right now, so that if they find themselves in a country different from where they grew up, they should be able to have like that knowledge. Okay, this is what it entails, and set their priority right before they start this family life of a thing, because no one is going to help you. Some are so lucky they've got good family circle, grandpas, aunties that will help them out. Some don't have it. That's how life is. We just have to like plan ourselves and make the best use of it. All right, so I'm so happy to have you on my channel. Please visit Tola Lusi's channel. She's a content creator, a fantastic one at that, and I hope we're going to see you more on this channel, and I'll be so happy if I'm also invited to your channel again. Okay, definitely. Thank you so much for coming, and that will be all for now, and I'll see you in my next video. You take care and bye.
Bye.